So, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Falling Walls Lab Greece. What an exciting moment for us all, a celebration of science and innovation. Psycho and Athena Research Center introduced the Greek chapter of Falling Walls Lab, the world-class pitch competition, networking forum, and stepping stone that brings together a diverse and interdisciplinary pool of students, talented researchers, and early career professionals by providing a stage for breakthrough ideas both globally and locally. Participants are supported in driving their innovation, developing their communication skills, fostering collaboration, and creating a space for an impactful and sustainable, thriving community. The Falling Walls Lab is organized by the Falling Walls Foundation and generously funded by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research, the Berlin Senate, Google, and Huawei. It is supported by the Federal Foreign Office of Germany and the German Academic Exchange Service. Having said that, each year, renowned academic institutions from all over the world are invited to host their own Falling Walls Lab to showcase the quality, diversity, and passion of their region's most innovative minds. This year, Greece is very proud and very ready to break walls, and I think this is an amazing feeling that we all share. So we have 8 brilliant minds, 8 participants who have been selected by a pool of very talented applicants, and today they will have the challenge to persuade our esteemed jury that they, each one of them, must be the winner. So there is a challenge in time. They only have 3 minutes to convince us all and, of course, address their vision to their peers and public. We will meet our jury right after, and please let me say that when we are talking about an award in this Greek final, it is not something simple because the winner will be led to the Falling Walls Lab final, which takes place in Berlin in this year's November, and of course a very valuable, let me say, gold ticket to the Falling Walls conference. Now, that's no word. Because collaboration is key, please let me at this point express our appreciation for the partners, the support of the National Library of Greece. Thank you for having us here at the Stαύρος Nyiάρχos Foundation Cultural Center, and of course to the Deputy Minister, Mr. Christos Dimas. Falling Walls Lab is organized under the auspices of the Ministry of Development and Investments. Our warmest thanks goes to our executive sponsor, Novartis. Let me say that their Open Wings initiative is making a difference in the community by addressing the hard challenge of youth unemployment. And of course, to our sponsor Bayer, nothing would be the same without your support. My name is Mayra Barba. I am very honored to lead you through this competition. And I think that right now there is only one question: which are the next walls to fall in science and society? We will discover future breakthroughs by sharing the insights, vision, innovation, and ideas of our magnificent finalists. But first thing first, we will meet the masterminds of Falling Walls Lab Greece. And before that, I would like to call to the podium Mr. Michael Dritsas, Head of Cabinet of the Deputy Minister of Development and Investments. I think here with us, please.
Hello. On behalf of the Deputy Minister of Development and Investment, Mr. Dimas, who is responsible for research and innovation, I would like to thank you for the invitation and the pleasure to be among you. We are very happy that this internationally esteemed competition takes place for the first time here in Greece, and we are confident that it will be repeated in the forthcoming years. As you already know, the Greek government has taken very serious steps over the last 2 years regarding the bridging of research with innovation. We already have established the registry of the startup ecosystem, Elevate Greece. We have also in the pipeline a new legislation regarding the spin-off establishment of companies and their development. There's already a legislation regarding the angel investors, and many other exciting things are coming up. And I'm sure that the teams participating today in this event will join Elevate Greece in the near future, and they will enjoy all the benefits coming out from this very important initiative. So I would like to thank you again for the invitation and wish all the teams the best. Thank you very much.
As you see, we keep all measures against COVID, and that leads us to Dr. Theo, who is the mastermind, as I said before. Theo Anagnostopoulos, co-founder and general manager of Psycho, is of course here with us, and the floor is his.
Good evening to all. Welcome to Falling Walls Greece. We're very honored that you're all here, collaborators and friends. I would like to say a few words before we start the competition. Have you realized that we're living in an era of unprecedented scientific discoveries? You know, the COVID-19 situation has dramatically changed the pace with which science has accelerated. We had the Cold War in the 50s and the 60s, and this led to the Cold Era, where all the space technology accelerated incrementally. Now, in the last year and a half, we have the new health age, as it's called, because for example, the science around health has accelerated dramatically. In many ways, for a start, the digital transformation. If you realize that the combination of molecular biochemistry and informatics have done the following. COVID virus was first mentioned to the media in December 19. By January 2020, it was completely sequenced, and within a few weeks after that, the trials for the vaccine were almost ready. And by the end of the year, we had the vaccine, and we had ways of informing everybody how to act using digital technologies. In the last pandemic, 1918, things didn't go that way, and the world population wasn't almost 8 billion. It's a magical way that science has acted so far, and it has shifted the way we'll go forward, not only because of the digital transformation, but also the discussion about the open access to science. This has rapidly increased as well. All the publications, for example, were readily made available to the public for the first time and being reviewed by the public. Of course, this has another drawback, which is the misinformation, but that's a different discussion. So, in a sense, this led to the article that a friend of mine, Martina Stevi, wrote in New York Times last year, saying that the new superheroes are scientists. And for us as Psycho, an organization that we've been trying to deal with science engagement for the last 12 years, we never thought that we would be able to have household names of scientists, being, kind of metaphorically saying, in posters of pop stars, in people's rooms, in a sense. So this has been a dramatic shift in the mindset. Now, coming to Berlin and Falling Walls, I had the opportunity to attend Berlin Science Week and Falling Walls competitions in the last 4 years. It has been a privilege to be there in the finalists, but also to be there with all in that big ecosystem of ideas, creativity, arts and science. And the fact that our partners in Germany has trusted us, it's an honor, and we're very happy to bring it to Greece. Together with our close partners, Athena, and under the auspices of the Ministry and our sponsors, Novartis and Bayer, we're very happy to host this today. One thing I would like to say about the competition is that there is an element of highlighting a little bit of basic science. You see, showcasing basic science for many years has been underestimated and misunderstood. I remember when I was studying for my PhD, there was another person in the lab next door studying the DNA variation on Drosophila, the fly. And nobody would understand why would the Wellcome Trust fund a PhD on a fruit fly? Because it doesn't make sense, well, in some countries, how does it convert to something useful for humanity? It's a long distance. And I think this is an element which is missing, and it is missing a little bit in Greece as well. There is a great startup ecosystem, but in my opinion, there isn't very much scientific innovation in that ecosystem. There needs to be more. It's a lot of marketplaces that are scaling, but the great majority of them, not everything. So to focus in scientific research is very important. And this is what we're going to try to do here today. So with this, I would like to welcome you to this event, and to the participants, thank you for applying, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Theo Anagnosopoulos. Always a pleasure and an inspiration listening to your opinions. And of course, let's keep that. It's a time for heroes, a time for justice for the scientists. And of course, more scientific research is needed, as Theo just referred. And of course, this is the time to warmly welcome the Professor Ioannis Emidis, General Director and President of Athena Research Center. I think he won't miss this event.
Thanks for the introduction. Indeed, I'm missing the physical presence. Sorry for that, but I'll try to address a couple of interesting points. Very glad to be among this crowd. Indeed, as Theo just said, it's very important to bridge science and impact. And we at Athena are trying to do our part in this very exciting pipeline. I agree that great innovation very often requires basic science. And I think the more scientific we are, the more chances we have to get to something really new, innovative, original, and a breakthrough. So I'm very glad to see some very strong groups competing today. And of course, the area of applied science is very exciting for our youth. And I hope that the groups that are competing are going to break walls. Of course, one of them is going to get the top prize and go to Berlin. But I believe there is a lot to learn, even in failure. And you can see successful groups and successful innovators that did a great job the second time around, maybe even the third. So I believe there is something for being proud when one wins the competition, but there's also a lot to learn, even if we don't get the top prize. You are lucky today to have an excellent jury. I'm also lucky to know most of the members. And I think part of the excitement is to be in this group and to meet each other and exchange ideas. Breaking walls is indeed the way to go. At Athena, we are trying to break walls, of course, focusing on data science, informatics, computational sciences. We are the only research center in Greece that focuses on ICT, and we are happy to break walls with very, let's say, modern challenges. We were very fast to react to COVID, for instance, with a couple of projects, text mining, which is a very important tool when it comes to research today, somehow connected to what Theo said about open science. We have a new tool for a few months old now for mining information about COVID-related research, and also a chat box, a speech robot that answers questions on COVID. That's one example. Another example is our work on climate change, sustainability, which is a big challenge for humanity. And we are happy to be able to bridge data technology with very impactful and everyday society's problems. So once again, proud to support this event. I'm sure it will be fruitful on all sides, and I wish you have fun, and I'll be looking forward to the outcome of this competition. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Emiris. There is a lot to learn, even if you lose. And this is a message by the professor to all our amazing finalists. So, at this point, I would like to call to the podium from Novartis, our precious partner. Sorry for this. This would happen because I have the cards with very small letters. So, please, Mr. Nektarios Giatas, forgive me for this. And we are welcoming the head oncology franchise from Novartis, Hellas, Mr. Nektarios Giatas, on the podium. Is he here with us? Of course. Thank you very much.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Saiko and Athena, for this kind invitation. It is our great pleasure and honor to be here in this Unique for Greece event and celebrate with all of you technology, science, and innovation. Three characteristics that are also in the heart of our purpose and vision that we have in Novartis across all our therapeutic areas. It is also our commitment to support any way we can the young generation, young scientists, supporting initiatives like the Falling Walls, but also through an umbrella of different and various activities that is called Open Wings, Ανοιχτά φτερά in Greek. So I kindly invite you to search it in internet. You will find quite interesting information there. Personally, it's a great pleasure to be with all of you, with young scientists, because it reminded me of the years that I was also a young researcher quite many years ago in the University of Patras. And you remind me the passion, the excitement, the energy, the dreams, and the hope we had at those years. So, trying to keep also the 3 minutes rule that it will apply for all of you, I will end my intro here. Wish all of you the best of luck, and hope to see you in Berlin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Giatas. Very punctual. So at this point, please welcome Ms. Sonia Mousavere, Head of Communications of Bayer.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Very nice to be with you. Very nice, as Nektarios mentioned, to be with young people. And very nice for us because we both come from University of Patras. So it's the Patras Day. So at Bayer, it's simple. We fight every day. We try every day with innovative solutions and services in order to deal with big, major challenges in health and nutrition. This is the uniqueness. We are addressing the two basic needs of humanity, health and nutrition. But this is not possible to do it alone. So, yes, we recognize the power of science, we recognize the power of innovation, but we recognize also the power of collaboration. So, for this reason, we support this kind of initiatives with young, talented researchers who are the future and who can help us to develop, to improve also the current and available products, services, and treatments. So it's we are very happy for the first time in Greece, for fourth or sixth time for Bayer in general, as Falling Walls in Germany is supported by Bayer for many years. So we are very happy to be here with you, to listen to you, and being in a room full of innovative ideas, as Theo mentioned at the beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonia Msavere. Indeed, we are very lucky today to share in this experience of innovation. And talking about innovation and health challenges, please welcome our next speaker, the life-saving innovation of cell and gene therapies by Mr. Theodoros Marioglu, cell processing specialist in CAR T cells in Novartis Pharma.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this event, Antonis, Theo, and Nectarios for the valuable support in the process of making this happen as well. I would also like to wish to the competitors of this valuable project here good luck. And as it has already been mentioned, it's not about the destination, it's about the trip in this process. So good luck. So, as every journey, my journey as well, it had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of fluctuations as well. And currently, I ended up working in a process, in a therapeutic process, which basically saves lives. So, I was born in Thessaloniki, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was almost 2 years old. And this has saved my life, like, radically, to be honest, because what I'm currently doing, all of my studies, my professional work, it was basically saved by this. Hence, I studied biomedical sciences, and I'm currently working in a pharmaceutical company as well. So, I studied in my primary school years in Anatolia, where basically I had some difficulties, let's say, with diabetes, because as a young person, it's a bit difficult to have to inject yourself with insulin pen, to be honest. But this then sort of created this dream for myself to find a therapy, let's say, or find something which will alleviate the symptoms of diabetes, not just type 1, type 2 as well. Hence, I continued my studies with biochemistry. But then I said, in theory, everything is good, but maybe we should do something more practical, maybe something more pragmatic. Hence, I studied biochemical engineering. And speaking of the devil, the most interesting thing about what we did there, it was a proof of concept project. It was to manufacture an emergency vaccine facility in case of a pandemic. This happened 2-3 years ago, so we didn't really plan anything for the current situation, to be honest. So I started working as a Salesforce consultant when I was in the UK, and then because I want to see more in the financial sector as well, I said maybe I should work as a capital markets consultant. And then I got this valuable experience, this opportunity to work in Novartis in the manufacturing of CAR T cells. But it's not always as nice, let's say, as it seems, because in the background there are things happening, to be honest. Before I started working as a Salesforce intern, I was unemployed for 6 months, to be honest. I was working part-time jobs in order to sustain myself. And then, hopefully, fortunately, this happened, this valuable opportunity as an intern. But then I said, let's do something different. Let's explore a bit more, to be honest. And hence, I work as a capital markets consultant. And then, because I realized I have a crush on pharma, to be honest, I said, why not work on something that you've studied in university, in theory, like CAR T cells? Because it's like watching an animation, and then the protagonist actually jumps out of the television and starts talking to you, you know? So, in the meantime, while I was working in all of these jobs, let's say, I dedicated a lot of time, and I think it's really valuable, in volunteering as well. I worked in Aheta University Hospital in Thessaloniki, Greece. Also in the King's College Hospital, where I worked in the nephropathological ward. And the most valuable point at this sort of like slide for me was the annual Diabetes Day, which is celebrated, I think, on the 14th of November every year. Basically, what really happened there is that my pathologist, who has been basically like my third mother, actually invited me to talk about my personal experience with diabetes, how it is to actually have diabetes and how do you deal with it. And it was for a child or a teenager, it was quite challenging because you're 14 years old and you're invited to talk to a crowd of 300 people, let's say, about something a bit scientific as well. But in the end, although it was challenging, it did pay off because actually a lot of young people were in the crowd as well and actually had the chance to talk to them about how it is to have diabetes. So it was an emotional support for me, but also for themselves as well, to be honest. So the thing I want to stress to you is that many times you're going to be extremely overwhelmed, challenged as well. And I think that a person that I really find quite marvelous, to be honest, is a landmark tennis player in this scenario. His name is Novak Djokovic, to be honest. I hope that a lot of you know him. So the reason why I want to talk about this person here is because he's one of the greatest athletes ever, basically. And many times he's been complaining about his fan base. His fan base is not as big as the other top players. So once he was asked in one of his semifinals, one of his matches, how did you feel about not having the corresponding support in this scenario? And he gave an amazing answer. What he basically said is that I imagine or I fantasize the fans cheering for myself, although they're cheering for the opponent. So that's amazing, to be honest. And it's good to always keep the challenges and steer them towards your own sort of like betterment, perfection. So keep going. So currently I'm employed in Novartis in Stein, where we manufacture the Kymriah, sort of like therapeutic therapy. It's a city or more like a town in between like Basel and Zurich. So it's like 20 minutes from Basel and 40 minutes from Zurich. So before I start with this, how many of you know actually what are CAR T cells and gene therapies? If you could raise your hands to just see. Yeah, a few people, yeah, from the medical or pharmaceutical sector, of course. Okay. So it's more like what we really do is more like a personalized medicine, to be honest. We manufacture the T-cell or Kymriah therapeutic cell therapy, and it treats two different types of patients. Those patients suffering from acute lymphoblastic leukemia and those patients suffering from diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. I would like to show you a video in this scenario of what we really do. Sorry, is there the sound?
Innovation is teamwork. We are very careful and pay attention to every detail. Every step we take together. We are taking care of the most precious thing on earth, a human being's life. Cell and gene therapy requires the utmost diligence. We work in pairs. Each of our moves is checked time and again. We know our responsibility. The stakes are high, but it's worth every effort. Science has achieved a dream that was deemed impossible just a few years ago. Together, we are working to make this dream come true every day to help patients in need. This is what innovation is all about.
So, the first batch, or the first therapy, which was manufactured in Stein, it was in 2019. It was released for clinical trial use for a patient in Europe. So, what do we do? What really happens in this therapy is that basically you extract the cells from the patient, you extract the T cells of the patients, which are part of the immune or defensive system of the patient or the organism in this scenario. And this happens in the hospital. And then after that, basically you send the cells to us, where basically what we're going to do, we're going to re-engineer or basically place a very small like protein on the T cell of the patient, which is the defensive mechanism, and then this therapy will help the patient fight the cancer. Because T cells, apart from the fact that they fight microbial organisms or basically foreign organisms within your body, they can also fight cancer cells as well. And as soon as we deem or we basically presume that everything is okay regarding the re-engineering of the cells, we decide to send the therapy or the therapy back to the patient. What is administered intravenously in a single dose, or because the personalized medicine depends from patient to patient, to be honest. So, a very important thing to mention here is that because there are more than 5,000 clinical trials taking place at the moment in the market, only 200 of them are ongoing CAR T cell clinical trials. So this means that it's a very niche market which is probably right now in its exponential phase. And in my opinion, CAR T cells will not be actually, they're going to be steered to other like therapies as well. Who knows, maybe diabetes as well. So, a very valuable thing to mention here as well is that what really happens in this therapy is that lives are saved, to be honest. And as you can see, is like its bubble or light basically represents each patient who has been successfully treated with Kymriah. And this represents more than 3,000 patients worldwide. So before closing this, I would like to tell you that the way to bring about change is to be active and proactive for our fellow competents here, that nobody's going to come to you and tell you, okay, this is the plan for you to be groundbreaking. You have to be proactive yourself and be creative in order to find something innovative, like in this scenario, to be honest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Theodoros Marioglu. Let me say that this process and this amazing story, this astonishing presentation is the heart of today's final. Of course, he is not a contestant, but he gives us the right message, how to turn a challenge to an opportunity, a life choice, and a way to make the difference. So having said that, we are ready to refer to our amazing jury, our distinguished jury of experts. And now, having learned my lesson from before, I brought a very big paper, you can see it large, with all their names on. And of course, please welcome Mr. Konstantinos Habibis, Chief of Staff to the Ministry of Digital Governance, and also Dr. Vasilis Nikolopoulos, Head of Applied R&D and Deep Tech Innovation, Intel and co-founder Energy and NGBU of Mytilineos SA, Dr. Georgia Koutrika, Research Director of Athena Research Center, of course, Dr. Themis Elisafi, Principal Investigator, Biomedical Research Foundation Academy of Athens, Professor Leonidas Alexopoulos, Associate Professor, National Technical University of Athens, Dr. Zoe Kournia, Senior Researcher, Biomedical Research Foundation Academy of Athens and founder of Ingradio, and of course, Ms. Levkothea Stathelou, Medical Head Oncology Franchise, Novartis Elas. So, we talked about the hearts and the heart of the competition. And I think that I'm starting here into the hearts of our finalists, namely Asteria Zapadeco, Άγγελο Σωφρόνη, Σταυρούλα Σιαμόγλου, Θεοχάρης Βλαχοπαναγιώτης, Μαριάννα Καψετάκη, Θεοδώρα Οικονομίδη, Ιωάννης Γκουζιώνης, Εύη Φαλιάγκα. Each one of them Each one of them faces, as said before, a big challenge. 3 minutes. Are they enough for them to present their ideas to the world and our jury? I think we are ready to learn. A digital clock will remind them the time limit. And please welcome first Miss Asteria Zapadeco from the University of Thessaly. We are trying to break the wall of microbiome with Amalthea, not us, Asteria.
Hello, everyone. I assume that coming here today, you all had to be tested for COVID-19, a pandemic that 2 years now has changed our lives. But have you ever been tested for one of the most widely spread pandemics of the 21st world? Probably not. Diet-related, non-communicable diseases are one of the most serious pandemics in today's world. Those diseases are triggered by malnutrition, a rising condition in Western society. According to FAO, at least 21% of adults suffer from them, and 1 in 5 in Greece suffer from IBS. Most, if not all, of these disorders are reflected on disturbances in the gut microbiome, a phenomenon called dysbiosis. The functional capacity of the gut microbiome is the missing component to achieve early prognosis and eventually prevention of gastrointestinal diseases. For example, for colorectal cancer, the mortality rate drops from 90 to 71% if the detection takes place at the very first stage of the diseases. Acknowledging those facts, only in 2020 in the USA, more than $200 million were invested on microbiome research. Amalthea is a synthetic biology solution to unlock the full potential of gut microbiome to tackle gastrointestinal diseases. Amalthea aims to detect gut dysbiosis, evaluate the function of gut microbiome, and finally ameliorate the gastrointestinal symptoms. The microcapsule is consumed from the user, and when it reaches the colon, it detects and quantifies the amount of an accurate and specific biomarker. But what are the advantages of this cutting-edge technology? 1, the measurements are performed in real time and are site-specific. 2, this is a non-invasive technique. This is why Amalthea stands out from all the pre-existing techniques. The second aspect is a live biotherapeutic supplement, a personalized product that restores the overall gastrointestinal health, leading to prevention of gastrointestinal disorders. Amalthea proposes a holistic approach that covers both early detection and amelioration of the symptoms, aiming to take a step toward breaking the wall of gut microbiome and diet-related non-communicable diseases. This is Amalthea. Thank you.
Fantastic job, Asteria. Thank you very much. Good luck. And please welcome Άγγελο Σωφρόνη, CEO of Fitness in Greece. He will break the wall of sports and wellness tourism. He's here with us.
To be honest, I was believing that today I will speak in Greek, but I believe in God too. So, everything started in 2017 when I won first place in Italy in a contest about new presenters. Then I started to travel around Europe and participate in different fitness events. In 2018, I organized my first event when I had 120 participants from different 15 countries, just word of mouth and no advertisement. We provided accommodation, hospitality, fitness schedule, and amusement in a Greek way. In 2019, I provided fitness services in a team building event where 140 executives paid 15,000 euro just for drink coffee and play football. So I realized that something good happens here. So I started research about sports and corporate tourism. There is lack of competition because there are only individual events from trainers or gyms. We have skimming price, especially in corporate tourism, high pricing with simultaneous absence of value. What is the value in 140 executives paid 15,000 euros just for play football? We have absence of innovative, similar events, similar place, and unfortunately, only in Greek market. We have a product approach. No emphasis is placed on person and no segmentation. And final, we have lack of variety of services. What is the solution? The solution is in our business model. We have innovative service proposal. We provide a complete accommodation package, includes everything, in competitive prices, and of course, we provided this worldwide. Especially for corporate tourism, we have holistic service proposal, simultaneous physical and psychological approach from business coaches, psychology, and trainers. For non-Greek firms, we can combine sports tourism with archaeological tourism. We will have post-purchase communication. So after event, we give the possibility to provide fitness services, just online training for executives or personal training in firms. And finally, we want loyalty and anthropocentric approach. So our members, we have discount and benefits in a B2B market. So they have benefits in hotels, gyms, and etc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angelos. That was enlightening. Good luck to you as well. And please welcome virtually from now on, thank you, technology, Ms. Stαυρούλα Σιαμόγλου from the University of Patras, who will attempt to break the wall of genomic literacy and testing.
Good afternoon. Today, I will start by sharing a personal experience with you. About 5 years ago, a neighbor called Sophia, 60 years old, started complaining about intense pain muscle. She was following statin therapy for 10 years, and I asked her if she had ever been proposed in genetic analysis before drug administration. Sophia replied to me, "No, what are you talking about? I'm Stαυρούλα Σιαμόγλου, and here is also Professor George Paternos, and we are here to break two walls. The first wall has to do with genomic literacy and dangerous semi-learning, and the second wall has to do with the conduction of genetic tests whenever and wherever there is a need." So, in front of us, there are two paths. The first path has also two additional walls. The first wall has to do with the familiarity of healthcare professionals, like, for example, doctors and pharmacists, with genetic tests and how to interpret the results of genetic tests clearly and easily to the patients. And the second wall has to do with the public's familiarity, including students, parents, and their teachers, with challenging for them genetic terms, like, for example, mRNA, gene, DNA, genetic analysis. On the second path, there's only one wall, and this wall has to do with conduction of genetic tests. When somebody hears about genetic analysis, they have in mind urban areas with heavy and expensive equipment and maybe a time-consuming process. Maybe they're right, but what happened with people who live in, and patients who live in remote areas far from these benefits? Are they excluded from this progress? For us, these two paths converge into one single solution. And this solution is a portable molecular biology laboratory which can be transferred into a suitcase and is entirely safe. So, this solution could be applied whenever there is a need of point of care. That means that HERAN personalized medicine and pharmacogenomics could be applicable to all the public, and at the same time, the doctors will have the opportunity to use the necessary guidelines so as to adjust the drug dosage personalized to its patient. That means the right dose and the right drug without adverse drug reactions. It can also be applied to medical centers so as to train and educate the healthcare professionals with how to integrate the genetic analysis test to the patients clearly and understandable. And finally, it can be applied to schools so as to educate and familiarize all the public with challenging for them genetic terms and by hands-on training. At the same time, they will get to know about the field of personalized medicine and pharmacogenomics without misinformation, and at the same time before any arises. So the Laboratory of Pharmacogenomics and Individualized Therapy ran this idea since 2016. In 2019, there was a big, massive explosion of interest from the public, both specialized or not, in Greece and abroad, as you can see also in the diagram. Thank you very much for your interest and for your attention.
Thank you, Stαυρούλα. That was incredible, and good luck to you as well. And please, let's proceed with our next finalist, Mr. Θεοχάρη Βλαχοπαναγιώτη of Urban Technologies, who will attempt to break the wall of catching the flu on the bus.
I am Theοχάρης, and I'm going to start with a story. That blue dot there is me. I was traveling to see my grandparents about 2 years ago in Alexandroupolis. I was taking the bus, and on the way back, I caught the flu. I was about 10 days in bed, but in the end, it all turned out okay. I was 23, and I was young and healthy, of course. I could have been anyone else. I could have been traveling with any other mode of transport. I could have been an elderly couple going to see a wonderful island in the Aegean. I could have been a tourist visiting and enjoying the breathtaking Eiffel Tower. What I'm trying to say is that 70% of the world population use public transport. Public transport meaning both short range and long range, like airplanes. And of those 70% of global population, in some cases, in some means of public transport, somebody will bear an airborne disease. In those cases, they will be a serious danger to those around them. Just studying the flu, we have 5 to 15% of the global population infected every year. Now think about the current pandemic. Think about previous pandemics, think about other airborne diseases, think about the next pandemic. The problem being that society, in order to function, has to keep moving, but epidemics have to keep moving as well. And until today, we haven't had a solution that can manage to keep society moving without having epidemics move with it as well. And one of the key reasons we don't have a solution is because there is no unified model of transmission across modes of transport. That is what we're doing, and that is what I'm going to explain. We're taking that bus that I took to see my grandparents, and we're assigning the possibility of infection to everyone on that bus. We're then taking that bus across stops, across destinations, and we're seeing every one of those passengers board different modes of transport and see how it affects other modes of transport as well. We're not doing this with just that one bus. We're doing it across city networks, across countries. We are aiming at minimizing transmission risk while maintaining operational capacity. We're currently doing it for all transport modes and for all places where people move. We are going to help, and we are helping 70% of the world population visit their girlfriends, visit their parents, enjoy a wonderful island in the Aegean, or watch the Eiffel Tower. But at the same time, we are helping them not catch the flu. In a couple of words, we are the Safe Passage Project. Thank you very much.
So I think it's the first time that you probably heard it. There is a timer in a CAF form. Maybe we'll listen to it later as well. Thank you very much, Theocharis. Amazing job. So I have been just informed that there is a slight communication connectivity problem with Marianna Kαψετάκη, but she will have her chance. There is a plan B. There always should be a plan B. And in this case, it's a pre-recorded 3 minutes or less presentation. this remains to be seen by Marianna Kαψετάκη of University College London, who will attempt to break the wall of eating disorders in musicians.
Today, I would like to talk to you about a wall that I have tried to break through my research. The wall of eating disorders in musicians. What are eating disorders? They are persistent disturbances of eating or eating-related behaviors that result in the altered consumption or absorption of food. And they can significantly impair physical health or psychosocial functioning. Here in the left box, we can see some examples of eating disorders. From the top clockwise, we have bulimia nervosa, the image at the top, pica, binge eating disorder, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, and anorexia nervosa. Why should we care about eating disorders? Because they can lead to many complications and even to death. Here in the right box are just a few complications. In order to break the wall of eating disorders in musicians, we need to find out how common these disorders are in musicians and whether musicians have factors that may increase the risk of getting eating disorders. So a few years ago, I started my journey to explore these questions. I created an online survey which I distributed worldwide, and this was completed by over 300 musicians. What did I find? 1 in 5 musicians showed pathological values in an eating disorders questionnaire, which was part of the survey that I administered. Also, 1 in 3 musicians reported that they had suffered from an eating disorder during their lifetime. What about risk factors for eating disorders? As a group, the musicians' levels of depression, stress, and anxiety were severe or extremely severe. Also, perfectionism was quite high, especially in classical musicians. So in conclusion, eating disorders seem to be common in musicians, and possible risk factors are the increased depression, anxiety, stress, and perfectionism due to the demands of their job. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Marianna. Good luck to you as well. I think I also wish to Theocharis, but to be sure, good luck. You will all need it. And of course, let's go on with Theodora Οικονομίδη, University of Paris, breaking the wall of gynecological violence. She's online with us. She's joining us. Okay, we will be ready in a couple of minutes, I think. And of course, our jury should be ready in a while. We are not envy of them at all. The next presentations that follow will also prove it. So, if we are okay with Theodora. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Theodora. I'm an epidemiologist at the University of Paris. And today I'm going to talk to you about a health problem that can affect up to 50% of the population. And yet we have no data about it and no solutions for it. Major medical journals like The Lancet and even reports that came out of the European Parliament tell us that women often experience sexual, emotional, or even physical abuse by healthcare providers, the people supposed to protect and help them. We call that gynecological violence. If you don't know what it is, you can imagine going in for a checkup and being sexually abused by your doctor. Of course, the European Parliament and the Lancet say this needs to stop. And they suggest that we measure and track the phenomenon over time and raise awareness about it. And yet, right now, we have no idea about the prevalence of gynecological violence in Europe. We don't know if it's increasing or decreasing over time. We have no interventions to stop it, and we don't even have a questionnaire to measure it. In short, we have no research on gynecological violence, and this is exactly where epidemiology comes in. In my work, I use crowdsourcing. This means I work with patients and I ask for their data and for their ideas to measure the problems they face in healthcare and to find innovative solutions to stop them. This is an easy method to apply in gynecological violence. Simply put, we create an online measure, imagine a questionnaire, that any woman in the EU, after experiencing gynecological violence, can go to and report your experience in real time when it happens. These data are de-identified, anonymized. They go into one database. As women report more experiences, this database grows larger and becomes a digital observatory of gynecological violence in the EU. These data are open access. This means that any scientist can access it to do research on gynecological violence. But more than that, our online tool doesn't just measure the problem, it finds solutions to solve it by collective intelligence. For example, it can ask women to pitch their own ideas to end gynecological violence, as well as healthcare professionals. Using automated methods like language processing can help us analyze these ideas rapidly and put them together in one menu of possible options that NGOs or government officials can then implement to end gynecological violence. In the era of Me Too, it is everybody's business to improve women's healthcare and to end gynecological violence by the use of collective intelligence and robust datasets. Thank you.
Thank you, Theodora. That was also very motivating. So we are going on with our next finalist, Iωάννης Γκουζιώνη from Imperial College London, will attempt to break the wall of anesthesia monitoring, and we are eager to listen to him as well.
Hello, everyone. I am Iωάννης Γκουζιώνη, and I'm a PhD candidate at Imperial College London. Today, I will break the wall of anesthesia monitoring by presenting you what Ethnicis Medical is capable of. Jean-Pierre Adams, a former France international footballer, passed away a couple of weeks ago. In 1982, Adams underwent a routine knee surgery where poor anesthesia monitoring led him being in coma for 39 years. Here, we can see an anesthesia monitoring system currently used in operating rooms. Such systems come with a complex interface that increases the data interpretation time. This can lead to complications during the surgical operation. Although complication rates decreased compared to the past, current setups are still insufficient as they don't harness AI for risk prediction. In this way, anesthesiologists have no support in decision-making, and thus it's challenging to determine anesthesia depth state. What I suggest to mitigate the current issues is Ethnicis Medical. The pipeline begins with a patient receiving anesthesia and by being connected to the monitoring devices. The devices collect data, physiological parameters, securely stored into the cloud. Afterwards, artificial intelligence algorithms are applied to achieve predictive modeling for these parameters. Then, the anesthesiologist monitors these predictions in real time through a user-friendly mobile application and finally proceeds with the best decision. Here, you can see some examples of how this application looks like. At this point, you may be wondering how patients and hospitals are going to benefit from such a software framework. Well, this can be achieved mainly through artificial intelligence, as in this way, at-risk patients can be identified and the recovery time can be reduced. By introducing Ethnicis Medical, hospitals may decrease costs and utilization of anesthesia, medication, and supplies. Finally, our pipeline facilitates resource and staff management in the operating room. With that, I'd like to thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Iωάννη Γκουζιώνη. Good luck. And this series of wonderful finalists would not be complete without Εύη Φαλιάγκα of the University of Peloponnese. She will attempt to break the wall of COVID-19 protection in ambient-assisted living environments. She is already with us. We love technology, although it hurts us sometimes. She will be here in a few seconds. We already see her, and soon we will also enjoy her presentation. I again refer to our jury. You will need some time for this difficult decision, we're sure. Please get ready for this. 3 minutes where I now... Hello? Hello. Yes, we're listening to you. Just a moment.
Hello, I am Εύη Φαλιάγκα, a computer engineer from University of Peloponnese, and I will break the wall of COVID-19 protection in ambient-assisted living environments. The problem I try to address is twofold. COVID-19 contagion is much easier indoors, like in ambient-assisted living environments. Also, people living in these environments, like elderly or people with disabilities, find difficulties adapting to major challenges in their living habits and follow protection measures. 1 in 7 people is a person with disabilities and face more discrimination during the pandemic. So how do we break this wall? We propose to take advantage of the technology.
I know that this is not very easy for you, but in order to have a fair chance with your other finalists, unfortunately, we cannot see your presentation. So after this, yes, we propose that you should start again, and this time try to share your presentation. I think we are all agreed to this.
I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. Are we ready now?
Yes, you're totally fine, and the floor is totally yours. Please enjoy.
Okay. Hello again. I am Εύη Φαλιάγκα, a computer engineer from University of Peloponnese, and I will break the wall of COVID-19 protection in ambient-assisted living environments. The problem I try to address is twofold. COVID-19 contagion is much easier indoors, like in ambient-assisted living environments. Also, people living in these environments, like elderly or people with disabilities, find difficulties adapting to major changes in their living habits and follow protection measures. 1 in 7 people is a person with disabilities and face more discrimination during the pandemic. So how do we break this wall? We propose to take advantage of the technological equipment that it is already installed in AAL environments, enrich it with artificial intelligence technologies, and warn the tenants when they violate a COVID-19 protection measure. Specifically, we have developed a 60 square meters house where the latest assisted living technologies are installed. The house provides assistance and care for its tenants, social inclusion, robotics, intelligent sensors, and digital assistance for ensuring their independent living. It is designed to be comfortable and non-intrusive, including a series of sensors and technologies. Do you recall the childhood stories where the magic mirrors had a voice and told you all you needed to know? Well, the stories come true in front of our eyes. Without villains, of course, but with innovation and creativity, the smart mirror will tell you more than you are the prettiest of them all. We propose a platform with an umbrella of services using this smart mirror. We can detect if someone wears masks or not. We use the mirror's microphone to detect cold, and we can measure temperature when they are brushing their hair. We also measure the distances between them and warn them if they are approaching. The sounds of the house are not sent to a server for privacy reasons, but the decisions are made on device. Our proposed solution will help vulnerable groups stay safe, will reduce their stress, and will allow healthcare professionals to remotely monitor and support these individuals more efficiently. Thank you very much.
Amazing job, Ivy. Thank you very much. Good luck to you too. So we're celebrating science. I know that you share the experience with us. You are many, and thank you very much for this. We are very proud of our finalists. Falling Walls Greece is now passing to the next level. The difficult decision, the burden of responsibility falls over the tender shoulders of our esteemed jury. So if each one of our finalists needed 3 minutes and less to showcase their ideas, then I think that 30 minutes is a fair time for our jury and for us all to make a small break. Please fix your clocks, smartwatches, phones, whatever you have, because in 30 minutes from now, we are here for the award ceremony. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Okay, this is very thrilling because I know that you were waiting with us. The jury have deliberated. We have our winner. We have the 3 finalists also, so I will announce the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. This is the beautiful award, together with all knowledge, all the experience, and all the beautiful things that are here in the future for our finalists. So, let's start with the 3rd position. Miss Theodora Οικονομίδη from University of Paris, because she has broken the wall of gynecological violence. And of course, in the 2nd place, Mr. Iωάννης Γκουζιώνη of Imperial College London. He has managed to break the wall of anesthesia monitoring. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our winner, the winner of Falling Walls Lab Greece, the first winner for Greece, we are very proud to announce that is Mrs. Asteria Zapadeco, University of Thessaly, because she managed to break the wall of microbiome with Amalthea. Congratulations, please come here with us. Congratulations, Asteria, amazing job. The floor is yours, the floor to the winner.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I would like to thank my team, IGEM Thessaly. We are 12 undergraduate students, and we are hoping to change the world. And I would like to thank my parents here, that they support me from the beginning of my trip. And thank you so much. I would like to thank everyone and every jury. Thank you so much. And of course, everyone that helped to have this nice event today. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the moment. Okay, that was a shaking moment for all of us. Thank you very much to all the finalists. Asteria, you are amazing. Congratulations to you, to your parents, to your team. Thank you very much to all the participants. But of course, I think that the person who should put an end to this beautiful event is one of the masterminds. Theona Gnostopoulos, please come here. We are eager to listen to you once again. Thank you very much. It has been a privilege. Congrats again to the winner.
We had in mind to give some feedback to the 3 winners, right?
That would be great. If you want, of course. Let's do it.
Okay. So basically, we had in mind to give some feedback to the 3 winners. So for the winner number 3, who is it that okay. Mr. Hambidis.
So I think that Theodora had a great idea and presentation. The problem of the violence, gynecological violence, is not a new problem. Of course, it's such old maybe as the communities of the humankind. And I think that day by day, year by year, more light, we have more light in the problem, the issue, and I think that we must, as a society, as communities, as countries, to get more knowledge about the things that are happening behind closed doors. And the crowdsourcing tool that Theodora is proposing to us, I think is the very first step that we have to take as countries and communities in order to approach the solution of this great issue. Thank you, Theodora.
So for the second place, who is going to give the feedback? Okay, please.
So, Ioannis, your idea was excellent, and indeed, it is important for nurses and physicians in the operating room to make informed decisions for their patients under anesthesia, and to have a knowledge the risk the patient is under. We think you could evolve this idea further if you think on how to train the physicians to look away from the monitor because they're so used to it, and they have to unlearn to relearn something new. And the other important fact is that you need to consider how you should work or how this tool will evolve through work and collaboration with multinational companies currently making these machines, because these machines are collecting the data. So if you consider these two factors, I think your idea will be excellent. Thank you.
And last but not least, Asteria, congratulations. You really deserve this first award. When the jury were discussing between us, you got a lot of 5 out of 5. You could see the passion. You were a stellar presenter. Your idea is a breakthrough. And we hope that you're going to do the best and you're going to excel also when you're going to go to Germany. One thing as a positive feedback and a way to improve it the next presentation, because you're going to represent Greece, is to give a little bit more detail about the technology, because there was discussion whether it's going to be sequencing, whether it's going to be. I can tell you a little bit more after the talk here. But congratulations.
And I would like to give some feedback to the rest of you. I think that sometimes it's quite disappointing when you are in a competition and you're in the final and you don't win. I'm in this position nearly every day, if not every day, almost every week. People tell me, oh, you're doing all these beautiful things with Psycho and I am saying, I only post the successful things. I never post something that I was unsuccessful. And the times that I'm unsuccessful are probably on a ratio of 10 or 15 to 1. It's just that I've got a great team and we apply all the time. But we learn from our mistakes, and we learn from, and from, if it is a mistake, sometimes there isn't even a mistake. You might have an excellent idea, an excellent application, and it might not go through. On that occasion, if I were you, I would ask some feedback from our jury on a personal basis, and positive feedback. What was good in what we did, and what can we improve? And they were very willing to do so. They're a great team. We just had an excellent, they had an excellent half an hour. I was drinking wine. But it was also excellent. So to finish this off now, αρκετά τα ξεσκονίσαμε τα εγγλέζικά μας. Λοιπόν, ήταν για μας μια υπέροχη εμπειρία. Εγώ, ξέρετε, έρχομαι από ένα background όπου όταν τελειώνουμε τα events, ας πούμε, για παράδειγμα, τα science festival στις βραδιές, το ερευνητική κλπ. Στο τέλος γίνεται ένα πανηγύρι. Ανεβάζουμε λοιπόν όλους επάνω στη σκηνή, πέφτουν μπαλόνια, μουσικές, εκείνα τα άλλα. Αλλά σε αυτή τη φάση που είμαι εγώ τώρα, συνήθως και μετά από κάποιες εβδομάδες εργασίας που έχει βάλει ο Αντώνης ο Μαλακτάρης, η Καλοζούμη, η Γεωργία, η ομάδα του Τάσου Πατρικάκου, η Ελένη κλπ. Είναι ολόκληρο team που δουλεύει αυτό το πράγμα. Είναι όλοι εξουθεωμένοι και είναι έτοιμοι να πάνε να μπουν σε ένα μπαρ, να πιούνε ό,τι υπάρχει και δεν υπάρχει και τέλος πάντων. Αυτά λοιπόν αυτή τη στιγμή δεν μπορούν να γίνουν και θα ήθελα να αναγνωρίσω τη συνεισφορά του καθενός εδώ μέσα σε groups. Θα ήθελα πρώτα απ' όλα να χειροκροτήσουμε και να σηκώσουμε όσους participants είχαμε εδώ. Σηκωθείτε παρακαλώ. Ωραία. Τώρα θα ήθελα να σηκωθεί οι δύο partners μας που μας υποστήριξαν από την Novartis και από την Bayer. Η Σόνια η Μουσαβερέα από την Bayer, ο Νεκτάριος ο Γιάτας από την Novartis και βεβαίως ο speaker μας ο Θοδωρής. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Το τζούρι μας. Παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ σηκωθείτε. Ήταν σίγουρα ένα από τα highlights για μένα να καταλαβαίνεις ότι ένα event έχει μεγάλο ειδικό βάρος όταν έχεις τέτοια άτομα στην ομάδα σου που μπαίνουν μέσα για να το αξιολογήσουν και είναι πολύ σπουδαίο να παίρνεις το χρόνο αυτών των ανθρώπων για να κάνουν αυτή τη δουλειά εθελοντικά. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Τη Μάιρα που ήρθε στην ομάδα μας. Please. Και την ομάδα του Ερευνητικού Κέντρου Αθηνά και τη ΣΑΙΚΟ. Αντώνη, σήκω. Και την παραγωγή μας. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Πάντοτε κάποιον ξεχνάω και μετά στο τέλος λέω τον ξέχασα ή την ξέχασα, αλλά anyway, that's life. Λοιπόν, αυτά, ραντεβού με κάποιους από εσάς στο Βερολίνο και σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, ραντεβού του χρόνου.